after all this talk that we've had about it all over the place tonight. It has actually reared its head a little bit. We have had some funding agencies who have went to one club who has had a club check that is lapsed, and the funding agency reminded them of that, and they are now going through the process to have it re-accredited. So there was also another club that went to a sponsor, talked to the sponsor about their gold club check that they had. The sponsor was really interested and said, it's really interesting for us to know that there are clubs that are out there wanting to make their clubs better places for their members. So while club check, and I know you all go, yuck, it's another lot of compliance and another lot of things to do, and it is, but clubs today are small businesses. They're much bigger entities, much bigger organisations than they were. There's a whole lot more compliance, and we've just already talked about that. So there's a reason to actually put some things, have some processes, some policies and planning in place. You can start by downloading the Club Check assessment tool from the website, but it is probably quite daunting. I think it's much easier if you sit with someone like me and work through it, but you can have a look and see what it's all about. And that way, it also gives you a look at what you already have in place. And I think in most cases, clubs are quite surprised that they actually do have quite a lot of the requirements in place. Sometimes there's things that are missing, other things like strategic plans and operations plans and decent budgets and risk management and all that boring stuff. But in most cases, clubs are doing enough to reach that bronze level. But then clubs, because we're sports people and we're all competitive, they then go, oh, I'd quite like to try silver, or I'd quite like to get gold. And so it goes on, and so you slowly work your way through it. It doesn't have to be done, and that's why I'm saying you can sit there and do it and get the bronze level, and that gives you at least a start, and it's not a lot of work to do. So yeah, I'd recommend that you do maybe have a look at it, and then look at what you do have in place as far as the documentation and what you're doing around the game, what you're doing to promote the game, what you're doing within your club as far as coaches and umpires are concerned. A lot of that stuff is the stuff that most clubs have in place. So to have a look at it and celebrate, say, hey, wow, we're not that bad after all. We do have quite a lot in place. Get hold of me and I can help you put some of the other necessary things in place. And I would suggest you start building a policies and procedure manual. And we've already talked to you about that tonight with the discipline one that we've talked about. That can be your beginning document. And then you start building things like your job descriptions. You start putting together some guidelines for your club members around how you select your teams, how you select your selectors to select teams. What are your guidelines around what uniforms people wear at what times? And I know some of you have those in your handbooks, but some of you don't. And it's quite a useful document. You can have it, either give that to your club members, because it is a little bit about how your club runs. And there are regulations that are different from constitutions. Constitutions are your legal document, and to change them you need to have special general meetings or annual general meetings to change those things. Your regulations can be changed by your executive. So they're floating rules really, but they are good guidelines about how you run your club. So I would suggest that you start putting together some of your things like that make your club run, and you have that documented. And once you've started doing that, it's like starting with a blank piece of paper, and I can give you things that you don't need to start with a blank piece of paper. But once you have a piece of paper with some of that on, it's easier to build on, and it's easier to develop what you've already got. As far as planning is concerned, that's another issue, and I think Ray's going to talk a little bit about the Woodend who have got a plan together. Don't start with a blank piece of paper. I can come in and help you do that too, because it is quite important. A plan doesn't have to be pages long, and I think the template that is on the Bowls New Zealand website is a very old-fashioned multi-page planning document, and I think in Woody you've got a one-pager, and it's much easier to read. You can blow it up, you can put it on your wall, everyone in the club can see what it looks like, and it's just easy to do, and it can be, you can put it on your table when you have meetings and use it. It's valuable because it then tells you where you're going. When you have changes of executive, you all know where you're going. Financial planning is another one, and I think that's a no-brainer. I don't need to go there with that with you, but that's also important. And so your develop documents, and I've talked to you about the different levels of attainment. You get points for what you're doing well, what you're working towards, or if you're not doing anything, you don't get any points, or you get one if you're looking like you're starting. So it's a point system. So that's why I'm saying that a lot of you would reach that bronze level because you are doing a lot of the things, especially around the game, and doing that really well. The amount of time it takes, and that depends. If you do it slowly, it doesn't take a lot of time, and once again, get me in and I can help you and give you some of the documents. So if you're starting at the low level, it probably takes a couple of hours of meeting and talking with me, and I go back, fill out the form, tell you what level you're at, and then issue you with your certificate. So that's as simple as that. The other thing is we talked about the recognition. So you get club check, and I will give you a letter that goes in with your covering letter saying what level of club check you've got. I highlight the things that you as a club are doing really, really well. If it's been re-accredited more than once, I highlight that too, because that also tells them that you've kept things going, and sometimes clubs do let that lapse if your driver hasn't been there keeping it going. So the letter of recognition, I think, is really important, and you can add that also. It can back up in your own letter, but yeah, it's a simple thing to do. It is worthwhile, and I think in the end it makes you feel as a club that you know that you've achieved, and you know that you have got things in place that make your place a better place for your members. Has anyone got any questions about that? Pat?
I'm pretty sure you did one on method. I seem to remember we had a big long meeting with lots of ticks and crosses.
Did I not finish it?
Well, I don't know.
Oh! I'll go back and have a look. All Lorraine.
I'd like to know what we got, that's all.
Okay, I'll go back and have a look. Must have been one of my business, probably in the middle of World Bowls, was it? Blame them.
Blame us.